Yep, we're live. Hey, welcome to What Makes a Difference. And we're talking about anger, frustration, and misunderstandings.
We are indeed, yeah. Our post got quite a lot of attention, didn't it? Some interesting conversations.
Yeah.
We touched on that in the last conversation. We were talking about what can easily happen when people don't give each other enough space. And the
Mhm.
impact that has is particularly seen, I think, within the services that support veterans.
Yeah. And there's also is what causes a lot of people frustration is that sense of another form to fill out and not having that person to chat to on the end of the phone.
I think there's a huge amount of duplication, isn't there? And that can feel a bit like well, it doesn't feel, it can result in people being pushed from pillar to post because services are not in one place, or the services that they are recommended for are maybe not what they're actually looking for, because the questions haven't been asked up front, the time hasn't been taken to actually establish what's going on for that person. I think it's a common issue. And I suppose it's that golden rule, isn't it? That what first is said isn't always the whole story, and giving
No,
people space to explore that.
yeah. It, as you and I often encounter, isn't it? It's somebody comes in with something, and that, as you said, it's that gateway into what the real problem in the issue is.
It's the door, not the house.
Yeah, and that's the first knock on a door to say I'm experiencing this when it's this whole thing over here.
Yeah. And that takes a bit of patience, a bit of understanding. Yet you look at how our services are set up now. I mean, my heart goes out to GPs. They are in an impossible situation. They've got 10-minute rules about consultation lengths. And if you make the appointment for one thing and then you bring something else, there's the frustration for the patient who's then said, well, actually, you need to make a separate appointment for this because of the rules that they're operating under.
Yeah,
Yet that impacts repeatedly when we consider that actually what's often initially said is the door, not the house. And it's the house that needs the support.
yeah. And it leads people to being frustrated, isn't it? Which can be mistaken for anger.
Very easily.
Yeah. Even though that all that person wants is a resolution to that problem that they're facing somehow. And it just seems to be a case of I'm knocking on this door and nobody listens to me because again I've got to fill in more forms, more paperwork. And if I do that again, and I go to say an organization, business, whatever it is, and I'm scroll down on the menu, but there's nothing there that says, "Can I help? Can I help with this particular aspect of what my problem is?"
So you adapt to fill in the form because you've been told you how to fill in the form, even though the form is not actually allowing you to put the information that you need the support for.
Yes.
Yeah. And that then leads to a situation where that person's turning up for that appointment knowing that there's more they need to talk about, anticipating a poor outcome because their system's already not aligned to allow them to do what they need to do, and they're already frustrated before they set foot through the door.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're already jumping through hoops and filling in boxes where they're thinking, why am I doing this? This is pointless. And then the person sitting in front of them wonders, they get the brunt of that because what they see is a huge amount of frustration, then assume it's anger.
Yeah.
That you're aggressive.
Just like to welcome Theon, the cat.
But
Yeah, and
you
it's
experience that regularly, don't you? When
uh,
you take me to the kitchen and I don't listen and select the right flavour of cat food. Yeah.
yeah, and it's also, isn't it, is somebody's gone to one organization and they've said, "Oh, we can't deal with your situation. We'll put you on to another organization." Or there's somebody within that system within an organization to go, "Well, you got that's wrong paper. You got to fill it out again," and it's just that repeating cycle.
Mm.
And so there's that anticipation of, why have I got to do this again? I've already filled it out, I've already done it. You know the history, you know the story behind why I'm coming to you. How can we get the resolved? So you've got two people, somebody who's there as maybe a caseworker or a supervisor manager going, I'm here to help with this, but they've also got the company organization to policies to adhere to. And you've got this poor person stuck over here trying to get that problem resolved with that caseworker or manager, whomever it is.
Yeah, I'm just conscious that Theon's starting to make me look like a Bond villain.
Uh-huh.
But that's also where then what happens is, because the limitation of the system, they get offered services that they don't want, that they don't need, or that they already know they've been through already and haven't worked. So
Mm-hmm.
they end up in a repeating cycle thinking, how am I ever moving forward? I feel stuck. And you end up with more frustration, which exhibits as anger. And then they end up with a label that they're uncooperative or they're aggressive, when actually what they are is hurting and
Yeah.
frustrated.
Yeah. And they may get banned from certain accessing certain organizations or businesses because of that label of, we don't want to work with you. We can't work with you.
Well, so we gather information before we start working with someone. We have to. Yeah, I might scan the information, but when I meet that person, I go, I'm putting that to the side. Tell me about you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about you in your words, not with the forms or whatever. Tell me about you. What's going on for you? Because that actually gives far more scope for the conversation to be where it needs to be. But it also means that right from word go, I'm listening, I'm hearing, I'm giving them space. I'm not jumping to the conclusions. And the problem then is, if you've got on notes with an organization, whether that's your power supplier, your phone supplier, your GP, your whatever, any agency, that you're difficult or that you've been aggressive previously, the next person reads that, picks it up, sees that, assumes that that's verified, and then they're acting from that standpoint. They're on high alert before you even get through the door, and now you're in that almost escalating cycle of not being able to move forward.
Yeah.
When actually, if somebody had at any point stopped and listened, really listened, it might have had a different outcome.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's two models, isn't there? So there's the Batarist box, which says my attitude affects my behavior, which affects your attitude, which affects your behavior, and also the drama triangle. So that person who's gone through the systems and is trying to get their case resolved, or this problem with maybe in work, and they then put themselves as a victim. They see the managers persecuting them, and they need maybe somebody to potentially come and rescue them from that situation, or rescue the manager from that situation.
Or they're anticipating that nobody's going to rescue from that situation and
Yeah.
they're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
Why
And
should I
then,
keep fighting to be heard?
yeah. And then people abandon using those services, and they just feel, what, as you say, what is the point?
I think that sometimes you take that out of the service arena. That happens in workplaces, it happens in families, it happens in intimate relationships, it happens in friendships. When people stop listening,
Mm-hmm.
then people get stuck where they are, and then things break down, relationships break down. Because whether that's a relationship between you and the service provider for whatever you're looking for, or you and your friend or your partner, the outcome is the same, things break down. But ironically, the solution's the same. Is to find a different way to listen, to give space, to clarify your information, so that you're not working from a point where you're either taking what's on the piece of paper as absolute truth, you're allowing space for that information to be updated or revoked, for your understanding to change.
Mhm.
Because none of us get it right 100% of the time. And now you've got that in recorded, me saying that, Rich. Damn.
Uh-huh.
None of us get it right 100% of the time.
Yeah. So give people a break, isn't it?
Yeah, give people a break, show a bit of
Yeah.
patience,
Mhm.
step back from the assumptions you're making, and sense check them.
Yeah.
Ask.
Mhm.
Let them know this is the assumption I'm making, because sometimes we jump to accusation. You're being aggressive, you're being argumentative, you're being uncooperative. And now we've stuck a label on the person.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we think we've done the right thing and we get all pious about the fact that, we've exerted our boundaries. We've maybe said something that's important to us. But actually, what we haven't done is heard everything or left space for the chance that
Mhm.
actually what we're seeing and what we're assuming might not necessarily be the way the jigsaw comes together.
Yeah. Well, especially if it's maybe if it's coming from a third party and someone has already said is, oh, this is what this person's like, and they're like that. So you already have an image of what that person's like and who you're going to be dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to set both of you up for fail.
It does, because neither party is coming to that conversation
Mhm.
clean.
They're a conflict.
They're in conflict before they've even got through the door because of the assumptions they're making,
Yeah.
the evidence they think they're expecting to see or they think has been seen, which actually isn't evidence. It's somebody else's assumption or opinion.
Mhm. Which clearly isn't always correct.
No.
No.
And it sometimes misses massive pieces of information that would make a huge difference to what you're interpreting or thinking you're actually seeing with that or hearing with that person. But that's hard work. That's hard work when you start that process. It's
Mhm.
important, and the return on investment on it is huge
Yeah.
in terms of the value to your relationships in any aspect. It's massive, but it's hard work
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're learning a new skill. You're learning that while your brain still wants to jump to assumptions and conclusions because your history tells you one thing, you're literally starting to have a conversation with your own thoughts that go, actually, stop. You sit over there for a minute, I'll sense check it, and then I'll let you know whether you're right or not, because you might not be.
Yeah. And I've mentioned this before, is several years ago now, I was chatting with this chap, and his wife happened to be on this university course. And he was asking her, oh, what have you done today? She said, listen, yeah, just kind of ignored anyway. So he continued asking her what she'd done. It was always, I've been listening. Anyway, eventually he found out what she meant by listening, because that's really hard. It's really difficult, isn't it?
Mhm. It is, because that means you have to be willing to tell your assumptions to sit in the corner for a minute while
Mhm.
I find out more information.
Yes, but those judgments to one side, not having an agenda.
Yeah. Being brave enough to ask the other person and maybe share some of those assumptions. I've got this sitting in the corner of my room. Can I have a sense check? Is that actually invited to this party, or do I need to? Is there something else you can add that says this is actually in the wrong room? Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So what we're saying really here is time, isn't it? Time and a bit of patience.
Hmm. Get curious, as
Get
we mentioned
curious.
previous.
Don't assume your assumptions are correct.
Yeah. And ask those open-ended questions. Can you tell me more about this? And is there anything else about that?
And if there's that information or that assessment is coming from someone else, yes, maybe take note of it, but be prepared to put it to the side and tell it to sit in the corner until you find out more.
Yeah.
That might have been somebody else's assumption.
Mhm. Being prepared
Another
to.
thing I would like to say though is also simplify your processes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good shout.
Simplify your processes and make them a bit more pragmatic with more wriggle room, because you know what? Most of them suck. I've
Yeah.
said my piece.
Uh-huh.
Simple is better.
hmm Yeah. It gives that more of a human aspect, and then you might find the right person to be dealing with in the first place,
You might
or they
find,
might find you.
yeah, and you might find that the person you're sitting inside is sitting in front of is actually a totally different person than you first thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all want better outcomes.
hmm
First step is learning to listen.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So we're going to be running some courses soon. We're going to be expanding in some of these topics and giving you real tools and an opportunity to start to play with some structures that help you do all of this. Because, you know, like we said, you don't always get it right. We don't always get it right. It takes practice. It's a skill you develop just like anything else. So keep an eye out. And if there's anything you've seen or heard us talk about that you really like, that you want to ask more about, do drop us a line, get in touch, because we love a good gab about this stuff. Or drop a comment below.
Yeah. And thank you for your time for listening.
Yeah, thank you.